Hi, Tracy here for AccuCut, and check this out. This is our big blossom rose petal. And I know you're saying it looks more like a poppy, but I suppose whenever you cut it out of whatever color, you can make it whatever flower you want. But these are big. I mean, look at my hand. And you can see by the pictures at the end of this video, these are these big, huge flowers that people are going crazy with and decorating their weddings and putting on tables and as backdrops and on walls. And there's just so many places and things you can do with these when you're doing events and party planning, and it's just, it's so exciting. So this is the, as I said, the rose petal, big blossom. Let me quick show you the lotus petal. So the petals, I'm going to show you the die real quick, but you can buy just the petals, and there's also leaves for each of these different flowers. You can buy them all separately, or you can buy them in a set, and I'll show you exactly what comes with them in the sets too, but just super cool. I wanted to show you, and here's a smaller version because the petals, there's 3 petals in each one of with the lotus and the rose. So you can make smaller flowers too. Here's my hand. So anyway, let me just show you what the dies look like. Okay, so here is the rose petal, the Big Blooms rose petal. That is on a giant die, but it will fit a 12 by 12 sheet of paper. And then here are the other 2 petals that go along with it. So all 3 of these will make that giant blossom. But then you can take and just make a medium-sized one with this one, and then an even smaller one with this one. So you can actually make 3 different sizes of blossoms, or one just gigantic one with all 3 of them. And they're on giant die boards, so you would need the GrandeMARK II machine to use this. Also really quick, I wanted to show you some leaves that you can also purchase separately or in a set. So if you had this blossom, you can use the different sizes of leaves to go with that, to accent with it, just like this. So I'm going to show you those real quick. Those look like this. So here is the giant leaf that would go with the biggest blossom that you make with the rose petals. And here are the 2 smaller sizes that you can use, obviously, if you make the middle size and the smaller size. And these come in the, if you want to buy the die set Big Blossoms rose petal, this comes in that set. So those, or you can buy them separately and just use these leaves with the lotus blossoms if you buy those. So here are the lotus blossom petals. They are on a super jumbo die, so you don't need the GrandeMARK II machine to have these. So to create this big bloom, sorry if I've been calling them blossoms throughout this video, big blooms. To create this big bloom, you don't have to have the GrandeMARK II machine. So you have this petal, and then you also have the 2 smaller petals so that you can make the medium and the small size. So I wanted to show you those. So here's the medium lotus and the small size. And so here's my hand, so you can kind of compare. And then here is the largest one. And then real quick, the leaves that will come in that set, if you choose to buy it in a set, are these leaves. And so they're a little bit different. There's 2 up on a giant die board, and they look like that. So first of all, when you buy the Big Blooms rose petals, you're going to get, if you buy the set, you're going to get a fringe maker like this. And what that does is that allows you to make this adorable little fringed center, kind of a poof inside. And this is really easy to create, so I want to show you how to do it. So you can do it with any size paper. If you have 12 by 12, that's fine. to make this really, really big and poofy, you might need to wrap two 12 by 12s together. But if you have an 11 by 17 sheet of paper, that works well too. And if you're doing that, you're like, well, that's way bigger than that. It's so easy. You just lay down your piece of paper. Here, maybe bring it up a little closer. So you see, I'm going to show you on the wood side, just so you can see what I'm doing. So here is the opening of the paper. Here is the closed piece on this side. You lay it down so that your opening is just to the edge of where it's going to cut. And then you roll it through your machine and cut it. And then you bring it to the right where it cut, and then you're going to cut again. And then you keep doing that, even with your 12 by 12 sheet of paper too. And this is what it looks like when you're finished. Just like this. So then all you do is pull it out and bring it around like this. So I'm going to glue this. I'm going to make my center first so I can show you that. If I had a tape runner, I would put that down. I would use the tape runner probably, but I have my glue gun with me, so I'm just going to do that. So now we have it all down. Got a nice poof going. And we're literally just going to roll it up like this. And that's going to give us that nice poof. So we just glue as we go. So we start and we glue. Okay. And we just make sure these stay straight as we go. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to put a little bit of glue, and I'm just going to, if you have a tape runner, you can use a tape runner too. I said I have a glue gun. We're going to use this later for the petals. So I just have it with me, so I'm just using a glue gun. So I just go a little bit at a time, making sure that all my pieces are staying straight. We get a little tangled along the way, we just straighten them up. All right. So I'm at the end, and I got a few pieces that are a little bent. So yeah, so there's my poof. And then I just kind of go through and I bend it down a little bit, poof it out a little bit. So I've got a nice little poof going on there. Now, and it's ready to, I can just put it right down into my flower. Now, if you're working with a 12 by 12, you can do two of them and then just wrap them around each other. You can also do two different colors. You could do black and white. You could do yellow and black. So you could have a two-toned one. You can do them two different sizes. So you could do one a little bit smaller. You just leave your paper. You could leave your paper down a little bit farther on this. If I don't want this quite as large at the bottom, I could cut this down just with some scissors and cut it in half so that my poof would lay lower down in my flower if I didn't want it up so high. So that's how you make the poof in the center of your flower. And again, this in the set, this will come with the Big Blooms rose petal set. But if you don't choose not to buy the set, you can definitely buy this. This is the Fringe Maker 1/4 inch, and you can definitely get that and make these. You can also get this die, and it would also look adorable in the Lotus flower, so you can use it in there. The Lotus flower comes with this for a center. And this one is really easy because you literally just cut a bunch of these flowers. So in the Big Blooms Lotus flower set, you're going to get the petals, the leaves, which are these style, and then you get this center. And what I do is I curl you can kind of see, I curl those petals up, And then I either use foam tape or old buttons to bring those up and give them from the very center. And I stack the buttons in between all the different petals, or I stack the foam tape to give them dimension. And you can see how they're, I mean, I can stick my fingers underneath them. They have lots of dimension. So those are really, they just make a really pretty flower center. Also, we suggest using the 7.5-inch circle for your base. You would use this and then build it on your, then put that underneath your flower, and that's how you're gonna build your big balloon. I'll show you right now how to do that. So this does not come in your sets. This is an optional piece that you can buy to build your flowers on. Some people, there's some videos out there where they're making their own petals, and then they just staple them or glue them together by themselves. So anyway, real quick, I'm going to show you how to do this. Okay, so I'm going to make the rose petal big balloon. So to start with, I've cut 11 to 12 of these large petals. I've cut 6 of the medium petals, and I've cut 6 of the small petals. Again, this can vary. It just really depends on how full you want your flowers, or you know, how tight you're packing them into your bloom. So, but that is, that's what I recommend. So what I first do when I make them, and I'm not going to make a full flower, but I'm going to show you how to start with them. I start by curling my petals. And I use a bone folder. You could use a round, anything that has kind of a roundness to it. When you're working with scrapbook type papers, or anything that's 60 to 85 pounds or thicker, you're gonna definitely want something that is circular, round. Anything that has a tube shape to it that will curl those for you. But I've been doing lots of these, so the bone folder works just fine for me. So I get this nice pretty curl. You're gonna make a cut, and then you're gonna bring it in just like that. Now, the more you bring it in, the tighter your flower is going to be. So if on the outside petal, if you start, and I don't really measure them, I just kind of bring them in just slightly. I would say there's maybe 1/4 of an inch between the end and the center here. This is really easy. You just staple it. And that's, I mean, that's super easy. So you've got one petal done. This would be super fun for a wedding, to get some bridesmaids together and make these flowers, and it'd go super quick to make your own. Because I was looking in the store the other day and saw how expensive these flowers are. So anyway, I've got a couple petals made, and I want to quick show you how to put the, you know, how easy it is just to place them on this circle. You take your hot glue gun, you put a bunch of glue here at the bottom, and you simply start just like that. And and you're going to go around the circle. Again, more glue. Again, as I said, the tighter you make them, the tighter your blossom is going to be. Like, I didn't make these super tight, so my blossom's going to be a little less tight than, let's say, this one was. You can kind of see this blossom was a little tighter. I didn't make my staples quite as tight, or, you know, when I brought that together. Okay, I'll be back. I'm gonna do all these outside petals, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so as you can see, I finished my first layer, and I'm starting on my second layer, because the big petals are the only ones that get basically 2 layers of the large petals. And what you do is you just go back through, and you've got your first layer, and then I kind of go back and do them in between the ones that I've already done. And so we're gonna go back and forth with those in between, try to kind of go in between the. Now you might find, since we're going into the circle, that you might not need all 12 of the larger petals. You might only need 5, which is okay. As I said, sometimes I say to cut 12, but you might not need 12. You might only need 11. Okay, so then, real quick, I'm going to show you the medium petals. I've only done 3, but I just wanted to show you what the medium petals look like in there. And these we're going to go just a little tighter, not too much, but just a little bit tighter than we made when we bring them together. We're going to go just a little tighter. And we're going to place that one in there. Again, the more you do these, you'll kind of get a feel of how tight you want the petals. You know, how if you want them to flow out a little bit more. So you'll get a real good feel of that. So there, I've done a couple, and then I'm going to just do the smallest one just so you can kind of see that one. And when I build these, I actually like to. This process of making I actually like to do all these petals first and then build my flowers instead of doing little bits at a time. But again, you need to find, you'll find your way, which one works best for you. So again, you can see the layering. So the biggest petal gets 2 outside layers. The middle one, the medium size, will get 1 layer inside of 5 to 6. And then the inside one, same thing, 5 to 6 small petals. So that's how easy it is. And again, I use this as the base, but you don't have to if you don't want to. And that's why we did not include it in the set. And again, you'll be able to put your center in there. So, big blooms. These are just so super cool. Whether it's the rose petals or the lotus, you guys are just going to flip over these. They're so fun to make and so easy. Whether you're a store owner or just making these out of beautiful different colored papers, you don't have to buy a kit anymore or cut them by hand. You can literally make your own and have a fabulous and fun time doing it.